Some toxic people have been saying that I didn't show my repeater build. Well, I'm going to show my repeater build. I also want to start off by saying, run what you want to run. You don't have to follow the meta. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. But if you're looking for a good damage build, everybody's saying sharpened. No. Sharpened is part damage. Once that part damage is done and the part is broken, your core damage will suffer. This build is running on core damage. I'm running Chronophores repeaters bonded to Rezikiris. The 12% chance for attacks to hit twice, don't count on that all the time. It's just this was the best possible option. The +3 cunning on there. Tempest, Omnicell. And then I've got Pangar's Lantern. I did run Strikes, but Pangar's was actually giving me the extra DPS. Spellbound Hood, Scravewing Jacket, Spellbound Gauntlets, Thrax's Pants, Adrenaline, Cunning, Drop, Invigorated, Reduce, Fleet-Footed, Impulse. Now, there's a reason why the Impulse is only +3. Fleet-Footed, really the +3 was all I needed. I have tried different versions of this build, and this was the best possible option. I'm going to start off by saying Adrenaline, +6, 3% damage for every 10 stamina missing. Well, I'm also running Drop. Drop permanently brings my stamina from 110 down to 26. I rounded up for my statistics here, even though if you look, when I expend my stamina, it's going to put me at 26, and the first dodge is going to put me at 8. So I'm giving a benefit of the doubt here. So by expending my stamina, it brings me to 8, but say I'm at 30. So 110 minus 30 is 80, every 10 stamina, so that's 8 times 3, and then that's going to give me 24% damage. And that's where this cell comes in. This is the biggest reason why this build works. Reduce at 6 is going to increase my damage by 50%. Attack speed is adjusted by 30%, but I'm running guns. Guns go pew pew. It's not going to be a problem. So 50% plus the 24% brings me up to 74%. So at this point I'm at 74% increased damage, and I've already covered Adrenaline, Drop, and Reduce. And that's where Invigorated comes in. Invigorated plus Fleet-Footed. Fleet-Footed I have at 3. So I've got the 20% move speed increase, and then I've got my 50% move speed increase. I'm always going to have this 50% because my stamina is permanently at 26 or lower. Fleet-Footed, in order to use Tempest, you do have to dodge, so it's always going to be active. So if you put the two together, 50 and 20 move speed brings me to 70 move speed. Now, this is where I'm going to cover why Impulse is at +3. Gain 10% increased move speed. So I didn't add that on there, but that's an extra 10% added on to there, so that's 80% move speed. And you get critical hit damage is increased by 4% for every 5% increased move speed. I didn't need to add that on there. Benefiting from up to 50% increased move speed. If you read that, the cap is 50%. You cannot go higher than that. Impulse is a critical hit cell only, not damage. So that's why I'm not running it at +6. Yes, if I had it at +6, I would have 10% critical hit increased damage for every 5% move speed, which would put me up to 100%. Yes, that would do that. But you cannot rely on critical hit for damage. Cunning is on here. 10% critical strike chance, 30% critical strike damage. Cunning and Impulse together is going to give me about 70% on the damage, but it's still a chance. I want my non-crit hits to do damage like my crit hits. I want them all to be doing big damage. So that's why Cunning and Impulse are just extra. Now, Adrenaline, Drop, Invigorated, Reduce, and Fleet-Footed are the main reasons why this build works. So if they do, which I'm sure they will, if they do nerf Impulse, it will not affect this build. This is why this is the one that I ran for the Bloodshot Shroud trial. Speaking of which, here's what we're going to do. We are going to get rid of this Stormclaw, and we're going to go fight Bloodshot Shroud. Not running tonics. I only run tonics in trials. I want to show this build's ability without tonics. I am also running the mod on repeaters where when I'm under 6 ammo, I have 20% increased move speed. So again, Invigorated is at work with that. Oh, of course Stormclaw is going to be a butt. I'm going to assume that he's going to be over here. Hey, look at that, I was right. It's going to be a second. Hello, Bloodshot, we meet again. There you go. I figured the best way to test this was on the one behemoth I finally got my title on. The one behemoth everybody seems to really hate. I hate and love him. One last thing I want to note on this build is a very minor detail with Tempest. I don't utilize it the way maybe I should, but velocity. When you gain a velocity, you get 3% move speed for 45 seconds, maximum 5 stacks. If that's going exactly how I imagine it, the core damage alone before Cunning and Impulse, we got 3%, and then that's going to be added on to the move speed I already have, which, not counting the repeaters, not counting the wherever else I get it, it's going to be 73, 76, 79, 82, and 85 multiplied by that 5% damage to unbroken parts for every 1% increase in move speed. So it would be 365, 380, 395, 410, and 425% respectively if I were to be focusing on how many stacks of Tempest that I have. But as you saw, I do expend my Tempest as soon as I can because it's quicker, so I didn't mention that earlier. But that is why this build works. I don't need to run Sharpened, because once that part is broken, you cannot do any more core damage of that amount. It's not going to be as high as it was when that part was unbroken. Whereas if I break apart using this build, I will still be doing significant core damage, which pertains to my biggest hit, which is 111,820, which came from about 215,529, I want to say, which is approximately half. Approximately half of that part damage that I did was core damage. The only reason I'm not showing that specifically is because that was during Frost Escalation. This build can be run in any hunt, in Trial, and in Heska. It can be run anywhere. Whereas there are some move speed builds that are just solely part damage that they only work in Frost Escalation. So if I need to get Aether Hearts for armor and weapons, which I am working on, I will run this build. Or I made a Chainblade version as well. It's just better to run core damage overall. And there's been a lot of misinformation out there. So for anybody that was wondering, that's how this one works. And Reduce is a good cell to have on any weapon where your attack speed isn't going to be too much of an issue. Repeaters are one of them, because guns go burr. And that's that.